All right, if I did everything correct, it should be working now. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new round of the new Byte Podcast.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing, guys?
Good.
Hello, everybody.
It's been almost a year, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a good time to come back again and talk a little bit about Gamescom stuff. And we're also joined by a new face today who is sitting a little bit to the side. I don't know if she's shy or not, but hey, Liz, welcome.
Move a little bit so you can get closer in.
Yeah, that would be cool. Hello, how are you doing? Why don't we start off with that setup right now? Like, Dan, Liz, do you want to introduce the new member of the new Byte?
So everybody, this is Liz. She is both my gamer and my gamer. She is both a gamer and she is my fiance. But most importantly, she has a big passion for video games and is really looking forward to getting some new articles done and possibly some reviews and things. And definitely see some more YouTube content, especially from us. And that's pretty much it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So how's everyone? Let's start with that before we actually go into the Gamescom things. Because, my God, it's been a Monday for me and a whole weekend of just working. I'm really glad I can finally get some rest and just have a nice chat with you guys. So I want to ask, how are you doing? How are you, for example?
I'm good. Everything is fine and dandy on my end. How is everything with Dan and Liz?
Yeah, things are good. Work is work, you know. that's been something that's happened today, hasn't it?
Well, I've been at work since 11 this morning, and it's been busy because it's last week summer holidays. So, yeah.
How's your week? How's your week started? Like, how's it been?
I'm just starting at 6 a.m. going until 2, which is, I mean, that's the regular 8 hours, but just much earlier than I usually do. And we had an important go live and everything today. So it's always in the beginning of the month, it's going hectic and everything else is okay. I haven't done any articles today, sadly, because I was just trying to catch up with energy and sleep a little bit. I was just sitting down, going for the half an hour nap. It was 90 minutes later when I woke up again. I was like, what is happening? And it's kind of also how I felt after coming out of Gamescom, where we were just like, 3 days of just appointments and running around and seeing games. It was very intense. So I don't know, how about we start with that? Because this is the Gamescom 2019 catch-up podcast, and we wanted to talk a little bit about the things that we saw, things that were maybe too small to run a own video on, maybe. And so if you've seen the Byte.com lately, we have at least a few articles up and running already for games like Necrobarista, Rise of Industry and its new DLC, and of course, I did something very cool for Iron Man VR, which was also the very first appointment we had as Team B. Sadly, only me, because they only would allow one person in there. I mean, I get it. It's a VR headset. It's very difficult to share. And it was quite a start for the show, because I never really had that much experience with VR. But I tell you, it's very sweaty. Like, I was just playing 10 minutes for the demo. I took it off and it was like dripping down my face. I was like,
oh yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, I hope that
was horrible.
That's some good cooling in his Iron Man armor.
Yeah, definitely. When I've played VR, both here and when I've been to previous events, it gets quite hot, especially if you have like lights on you and you're in an enclosed space like a venue, because it gets stuffy and hot and everything, and you start sweating a load. But luckily, it hasn't been so bad here. It's just been kind of like disorientating a little bit, but. Yeah, that's just kind of how VR is, really.
That's true.
Get a stand for our sensors.
Yeah, we need to get some stand for the sensors, and then we can do some VR content, and that would be cool.
Oh, it's actually I'm just looking up the calendar, so I have a point of reference where we've been, because we've seen so many things. Compared to last year, I think it was like twice as much. Because we really split up. We used our 3-man, personal, go around and everything. It was really nice. So how about we start with the highlight of the Gamescom so far? Emily, what was your coolest thing that you saw, maybe?
Because
I know Dan's Cyberpunk.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
hard. That is quite hard to decipher right now, right on the spot. But the most exciting thing that I like, I have most anticipation for is the Outer Worlds. I'm not only a fan of the concept, but I am quite a fan of Obsidian, the people who also made Fallout 3.
No. Fallout
No?
New Vegas, isn't it? Yeah.
New Vegas.
They did 1, 2, and New Vegas, I think, right?
Okay, yeah, that.
Good one.
So
The good
yeah,
one,
my favorite actually. So hence why I'm looking forward to it, and I really like the style of it. So yeah, I mean, it was Cyberpunk, but I managed to fall asleep in the actual demo that we actually got.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't see it, I think, because we were looking at the screen, but she was on my side, just slowly like. I was like, don't fall over. Because we had the very funny thing in the Cyberpunk booth. We were sitting in the last row, just very high up, because we're thinking, it's a small cinema, actually, that they built there. And the dude that was actually playing the demo was sitting right next to her. And then she's slowly, like, just slipping down my shoulder. I'm like, oh no, don't fall over.
Yeah.
Don't disturb the presentation. I was like, trying to hold, like,
Yeah. But like the whole, I mean, we were midway through Gamescom ourselves, so we were like massively sleep deprived, and it was we were busy like all the time. So
it was already 2 days.
I still have high anticipations for it, but I just like Outer Worlds better right at the moment. But I do intend to get both games.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I definitely know that for Outer Worlds, because we all have Xbox Live Game Pass, we all will be able to play it on launch because that's a Game Pass title, which is really good. So you'll definitely, cool. I definitely want to play it myself. I like Fallout New Vegas. I thought it was a very good and fun game. I'm hoping that's like giving them a bit more time and resources. Obsidian can actually do some more with that. That's what I'm hoping the Outer Worlds will do. But yeah, I really do agree that that Cyberpunk was really, really interesting. I would I call it. Yeah, I probably would call it my most anticipated, or just kind of like the best game for me personally at Gamescom, because it was very interesting to see, and having heard a lot of reviews and opinions from journalists who saw the finished saw this demo at E3. I see what they mean by certain points, but also I do not agree with quite a lot of them. A lot of them were saying things like they were just saying things that I personally think was not a good idea, and not kind of in I'm struggling with my words, but it didn't really gel with kind of like what Cyberpunk is as a core game. It's kind of like that's not what it is. Why are you saying that about it? But I think it's more to draw kind of like hype and just not hype, but it's to draw more kind of like attention to it, and controversy, and just to get people like reading something. Because if you see, this game that everybody's anticipated for has done this bad thing, then I'm going to want to read it. So I think that's more to do with that than it is actually to do with the game as a whole.
Well, someone agrees with you.
Yeah.
I mean, coverage of Cyberpunk right now is just like, everything's first person. You couldn't do this and that. And it's just like tweet articles. You have like maybe 20 words in them, and you think you're putting everything out, I guess. But gosh, it's coming. It's coming in the midst of April 16th, as I see right now. And the Outer Worlds actually releases October 25th, so there's like almost half a year time in between. Enough time to enjoy both games, definitely. Yeah. And yeah. So
gosh, I didn't know it was coming out so soon.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
Actually.
And it's going to be definitely. I think it's a smart move for Outer Worlds to launch sooner rather than later, because if they launch later, then they jump into Cyberpunk, and that everybody's just going to go for Cyberpunk. So I definitely think it's a smart move releasing it now. And also, if they've got the finished product, why not just release it? So
I mean, this is this black hole in April where everything's just like, oh, don't release anything in April. Don't forget about it. Like shortly before April, maybe if it's a small game, maybe. But if it's anything bigger like the AAA things, they're just gonna avoid completely going into April, I think. Unless it's something completely different where they know there's like a split group anyway. There's no overlap, I guess. But other than that, yeah. I mean, release in that time frame is always very rare. But we saw a lot of releases being announced for February and March next year anyway, out of the usual October and November things. So it's going to be interesting what we'll play next year, definitely.
Yeah.
So, Dan, do you want to continue what you found as a highlight? Or was it just Cyberpunk?
Well, I definitely say Cyberpunk was a big highlight. I saw a couple of other things that I really enjoyed. So I played a game called Battle Planet, which, in a nutshell, you play as an escaped convict on a planet, twin stick shooter style, and you have to go through, I think it's 8 planets before you finish it, and it's roguelike. So every time, if you do die, that's the end of your run. You got to start again. But there seemed to be lots of really cool elements, and it's releasing on both Steam and Nintendo Switch. So it's definitely got some really good. It had a very high replayability rate, and I was really enjoying playing that game and what the developers were telling me about it. So I can't wait to do some more for that. I will finish my write-up soon, so that should be on the website in the next couple of days. Another one that I played was a good VR game called Journey for Elysium, which you play as somebody trying to find redemption and finding out who they are and themselves and where they got to this point and trying to get to Elysium. So that was a really, really cool game, and I also believe it won one of the best VR games at Gamescom award. So that was very well deserved from what I played and saw, and can't wait to write up some more about that and give you guys some more insight into what that was. But yeah, definitely saw a lot of cool games. Have been playing non-stop Pagan Online from Wargaming. It was a lot of fun to watch one of the designers actually playing it, and then getting them being really super awesome by giving us a couple of codes to actually test it out. Yep. So definitely have played a lot of that, more than I intended to. So have experienced it a lot, but can't wait to jump in with one of these amazing team members, and get some YouTube content for that, also maybe some Twitch streaming. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I struggle to put it down sometimes.
All right. I mean, that's a good sign always.
Yeah.
I also took one of the keys and said he didn't get to do it yet because work is just overwhelming. And the only thing that I get to do at least is small written articles at least. And trying to go by my calendar bit by bit. The next bit that I have coming up was the Intel presentation that we have for like 2.5 hours, which on its own, covering hardware is always a bit difficult to me because I try to be informed as much as I can, but these things get so technical and so specific that I need to invest another like at least 2 hours maybe of learning new things to actually properly understand them and to bring them back into a post that I can put on the website. But other than that, there's lots of great things. I was actually really happy about what I saw at Private Division when I was there. They were in the same booth also like 2K, where Borderlands 3 was, which Emily and I saw, for example. But my personal highlight was Disintegration. We saw that on Gamescom Opening Night Live on the Monday show with Jeff Keighley, which on its own was also great. We gotta talk about that in a minute. But quickly about Disintegration, we really didn't know what was to be expected from this because we just had this one trailer where the dude was on this, bike or something like that. And then actually when I saw the presentation, I got to learn, okay, what this is all about. Disintegration is actually the process of removing one's brain and putting it into a mechanical body. Just like in that old anime, which I always forget, what's it called? You guys know it.
I want to say Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell, like that. Sorry, my mind was right now at Neon Genesis Evangelion, which I just saw recently, but no, it's Ghost in the Shell definitely. And the interesting story and cover up for that is they basically bad people who want to prevent the integration again back into a human body. and they actually hijack the process. So instead of going back to the normal form, they all of a sudden get connected to a hive mind. So that's basically the bad people. And you, as a group of outlaws, try to prevent that and actually make the integration happen again to your former human bodies. Because actually, all these people that are in these robot suits are just regular people like teachers, policemen, stuff like that. They're not really military. And the gameplay is just you're hovering around with the hover bike and commanding them around while also being able to shoot things and skating between an FPS and a tactical shooter, which is very interesting. We had the time to play some multiplayer, and it was good fun. So that was a good highlight of mine.
So just going off of what we saw at, or what I saw at Open Night Live, with playing the multiplayer, is it just you all play as people on hover bikes, or do you play as like one person plays as a person on hover bike, another one plays as someone on the ground?
No, you're always like a commander of a small group. And if you play multiplayer together, we had a 3 versus 3 setup because not everyone was interested in playing. You could do up to 5 versus 5. We played an objective-based mode where one side was the attackers, the other one were the defenders, and it was like capture the flag, when there was like an energy core which you can pick up from one of 2 points and then bring to a center point in the middle. The defenders, of course, are trying to prevent you from doing that. So you have your small troops which you can direct around and set up 2 flags. You say, for example, hey, you guys go right, I go left, and we try to charge them from both sides. And if you can coordinate with other people, which was very nice in that technical setup, where you actually could hear each other over the headsets, and also developers joining in and saying, like, okay, if you play this certain type of character, because there's something like biker gangs in this game. So instead of playing just your own character, you pick just one of like 6 heroes in a sense with their crew, and then that will allow you to do certain tactics better because they're just having the abilities to support that. So that was very interesting, very mixed, and they're hopefully coming forth with something bigger next year because it's still very early in development, and I'm really excited to follow up with that and see what's coming next. Yeah. It's something different, especially. That's very nice. It's not just your regular boots on the ground shooter or something else. It's just this mix between tactical and first-person shooter. That was very nice. Yeah,
definitely. Because you don't see a lot of kind of like mix between first-person shooters and tactical kind of shooters as well. It's normally just one or the other.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, that was definitely a very good thing. Right, so do you guys want to talk about Opening Night Live? Because that was a thing that we visited. We were actually going out on Monday morning, trying to get our lanyards and everything for press sorted on Monday, which we heard we could do, but apparently that's not a thing anymore, at least. So if we wanted to do that, we just have to go in on Tuesday when it's actually opening for press and everyone and get that done then. But we happily got still access to the halls because we just registered ourselves at the front door. So like, hey, we're registered as press, can we still go in? And they allowed us to. So we spent the whole Monday when there was everything still being built just to walk around. And then in the evening hours, I actually got to Opening Night Live. So what were you thinking about that? How was the experience for you?
Oh, yeah, it was incredible. I'd seen kind of like stuff sort of like it, but never actually been in that kind of environment to see all these games announced, seeing kind of like all of these creators come out and talk about their various games and things like that. Yeah, it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. I really think that Jeff Keighley did an amazing job, but he always does an amazing job with all his presenting. And I really hope that kind of like more he is able to do more stuff, because he really has such a great kind of way of introducing things and getting things moving along when somebody's talking a bit too long and things like that. I thought it was absolutely incredible. But seeing all these get like game releases and everything, and the energy that was in the room was just insane. But you've not really like me, you've not really done something like this before. What was kind of your thoughts on this?
Well, it was definitely interesting being in something like that. For starters, because I've never been to anything like that, like nothing live, nothing I mean, I haven't even seen like a live stream of E3 or opening live for that. But it was actually quite surprising. I found very many games that I wouldn't have seen in my normal life in that. And I saw lots and lots showcase, and it really got me intrigued how many games there really are out there, and how many I don't really see how many I just don't see. That's a little bit like off the point. But I found like the whole experience rather surreal, like being in this like big hall full of other gamers and streamers and stuff like that. And when Hideo Kojima, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
Came on, it was like everyone just went wild, and I was like,
Yeah, he is a living legend.
Who is this guy? Like, it just went like that. And it was like rather surreal having everyone around me going, oh my gosh.
Literally security standing in front of them, or like, oh, you step back.
Yeah.
And then it was like turning around, selfie, like, oh, I'm having a selfie with Hideo Kojima while he was on the show up there with Jeff Keighley and talking. And it was a thing.
So yeah, I found it very interesting. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to try half of the games that I saw. So,
we actually went out and saw at least a few things that we saw that night.
We did.
I was really surprised by the Kerbal Space Program 2 trailer, because it was all like space and the Final Frontier thing. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And you see these derpy faces. I'm like, I'm going into space. And then, of course, the rocket explodes and everything. And when later that week, I also saw the presentation from the developer, again, a private division. Thankfully, got at least me in, saw the things. I got much more impressions about that game and how they want to restructure, for example, the tutorial for the game, for the sequel, and how they also want to expand it, because you're not just going into your own solar system with Kerbal Space Program. You do your own space stations. You can go on, for example, build a new base on the moon, on any planet, basically, and also go far beyond that, just out into the universe, basically. And that as a sandbox is very intriguing compared to something like No Man's Sky, for example, where you have a little bit of crafting, but it's really much more about the journey itself. And with Kerbal Space Program, you're more like an engineer trying to build things around. If it goes bad, it just goes bad, and sell everything on its own.
Yeah.
It was always fun.
Yeah, I played a little bit of the first the Kerbal Space Program, but I never really could like get to grips with all of the physics stuff. I would send a lot of like rockets up into space. I'd try and send the rockets somewhere, but they'd kind of like fall apart or just explode on me or something. So yeah, not very great with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think like maybe next year we watch the thing at home and do like a co-moderation on the thing. Like all of us just in this office, for example, and sit down like, yeah, that is an interesting trailer. What do you think about that? I don't know. I found it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Because like going there was interesting for the first time, but I don't think I'd go a second time. I don't know how you feel about it. Would you do it a second time, like next year, if you do it again?
Opening night live.
Yeah.
Well, one of us wanted to go to Dutch Courage, but one of us wasn't allowed to because someone already paid for the ticket. But maybe no, it's fine. I enjoyed the experience, but Dutch Courage is like I find it more like.
Can you quickly explain what that is for the viewers who don't?
Okay, basically, Dutch Courage is something held in a bar called Meltdown in Cologne, where Gamescom is held, and it's basically a little like a mini festival to show off for mini independent indie game developers to show off their games, and yeah, for people just to have fun with games. Basically. And the first year we did Gamescom, we went, and it was really fun to actually chat to the developers, because most of them had, like, there were only 2 people working on it or something. And it was quite a personal response, other to than just have a team of 500 people working on one game. I found it more like it was more of an experience, and I can actually talk to them like human beings rather than just them trying to sell the game. Well, they are trying to sell the game.
Okay. Yeah.
but it's from their, like, it's theirs. It's not
only
just
people working on it. The only people that need to bring it out.
Yeah, like they're indie developers at the end of the day.
Fun fact: last year when we saw that VR game Hide and Freeze, Dan, you remember that maybe? We actually saw them on the Gamescom show floor this year in the business area. They had a booth, so that was good.
Yeah, and I would have gone over to have a look, but they seem to have quite a big queue, so definitely something that was quite popular, and I can definitely see it becoming quite a popular game. As who doesn't want to play hide and seek in VR? It seems like a lot of fun, and definitely can make some really like funny videos and stuff on it. So hopefully that one we'll see. It seems like it had a lot of interest and stuff. So
It was definitely.
Here's a question for everyone: what was the game you unexpectedly enjoyed, which you didn't think you did, including indie games, including big AAA games that you saw, like games this year that you went to see, or you just kind of went to the
take this first.
The game that kind of surprised me the most in terms of both looks, feel, and kind of just learning about the game surprised me was definitely Warhammer 40k Mechanicus. And that game is it's very XCOM styled, where it's tactical. You have a set amount of units that you can move around, and you complete objectives. But it doesn't have any of the bad things about XCOM, like ridiculous percentages that are just stupid and don't work. But it actually does roll off of a guaranteed hit, but you have armor and shields and things to defend various characters. But one thing I thought was both impressive and just absolutely insane was it was a team of about 5 people that made this, and it looked like a AAA game. It was beautifully done, well crafted, well thought out. It was steeped in Warhammer lore, and it just looked incredible. And for a team of 4 or 5 people, that's just nuts. It was absolutely nuts. When he told me that, I was stunned. I just couldn't talk, because what do you say when I went into that, when I thought it was going to be at least a team of like 50 people. There's 1 or 2 people here from the game and everything, and they're trying to promote it, but we're a team of like 4 or 5 people. This is their first game that they're creating, and they had like backing from the guys that run Warhammer. It was just nuts. It was absolutely nuts. Mechanicus was just insane, and I can't wait to either get my hands on it or just kind of see what more they have to offer for it. It was insane. I was still blown away just thinking about it.
And it's always good, one can say about a game, it blew me away. Like, how often do you do that these days?
Yeah.
Most things are like, I guess I had more thoughts into it than it actually was, and then something like that comes around. It's like, that's actually really amazing. That's always nice. All right, I guess I go next. What was the thing? Gosh, I had the calendar app to look it up. Yeah, the game Skyball and Zack, or just Skyball Zack, I think, because it's name for a dude, Skyball Zack. It was something that I didn't expect to be that interesting and that much fun when I saw just the trailer. The basic principle is that it's like a 2D world where you're just running from left to right, But the thing how you move forward is that you actually go through like, I don't know, like energy balls basically that are color coded. And these colors are matching to the colors that you have on your controller. So for an Xbox controller, just A, B, X, Y, each having their own color. And there's like an enemy, for example, in front of you. You can always just punch through it. Let's say move forward through the game from left to right. Always just punch, 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 punch. And you basically have to press always the correct color that's standing in front of you. So there's like, I think A is green. So if there's something green in front of you, just press the green button.
Yeah.
Cool, I know that. So just press A, and then all of a sudden it changes the color to, I think, blue, and then just press B instead, or that's X. Whatever, B is red, I think. There's someone in front of you that's red, you have to change from A to B, and it's like, you actually want to go through a level very quickly because you don't want to touch the ground. And it's just very nice to get, a really like long streak going. We're just like mashing through rows of enemies, going through the level like that, and then the paths that are actually splitting up, and you can do double jumps in between. And it was really going like in depth. And when I tried to play it again, I was like, okay, maybe. I was more like the lower end of decent, I guess, because then the developer took over and said like, oh, let me show how like high-end gameplay it looks like. And of course, he having like multiple hours in it because he's developing the game, just plays through the whole level within like 30 seconds, never touched the ground, perfect score. And they even have like something which is called most games have an S rank from Japanese standard, how they have like C, B, A, and then even an S rank. They have a Z rank that's even above the S rank. So if you're like super extremely good, you get a Z rank, and that's just amazing to think about. And
that's nuts.
Yeah, so the hopeful release, I think, early 2020. And it's definitely something I would try out again, getting myself familiar with it, because it's not based on just random generated levels. There's actually always a map to it. They really thought them out, so you can learn them and can actually learn to speedrun them also. And there are a few speedrunners out there already having their demo built and trying to be the best at that and do runs with that. And it's going to be something that's hopefully also coming up, for example, like an event at Gamescom Quick, maybe early next year again, when it's the, what is it? The Summer Gamescom Quick? An awesome Gamescom Quick, yeah. The early event is always awesome Gamescom Quick. So maybe we'll see it there then again. This is really
that'd be cool.
Interesting looking. And if you see like a pro playing it, really high level gameplay, it's just like going from left to right so fast. It's like insane. And really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
So, what about yourself, Did you see a game that was that kind of blew you away? You kind of took expectations.
Well, do you remember that game where we went to see something,
I think I know what it is.
We ended up in I think it's Polish. The Polish.
Oh. It was not what I was expecting, but yes, it was. Is that called Deep Rock Galactic by any chance?
On Thursday?
No,
that wasn't Deep Rock.
That's Swedish. The Swedish thing. Basically, you tried this. It's I forgot the name, but I really enjoyed it.
Okay. The only other thing I can think of is Lost Ember.
No,
it wasn't Lost Ember.
Like just going through basically the quickly. Lost Ember, Boundary, Dear Esther, Hitchhiker, or Main Assembly.
The only other thing I could think was Dear Esther.
No.
Okay.
Basically,
I have no idea. I'm lost.
Basically, we went to the Polish thing, like stand.
What's that in Poland area?
Interrogation.
That's what you saw.
That was it.
Yeah, I know, but you guys were there for some of it.
Interrogation?
Flying.
Basically, it's a game about it's somewhere sometimes set in the Soviet Union, and you're an immigration
yes,
officer.
I remember now. Oh my gosh.
It's a simulation game, and basically you have to decide.
Contraband police. I knew I had it here.
Okay, that's on the calendar.
That's it.
It wasn't in the calendar because what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? I'll kind of like give a little background to it. But what happened was we went to the Project Division booth because we thought, we can all get in because I believe you you asked them, and they said, yeah, it should be fine, just turn up. So we turned up, and then it was like, oh no, we've only got room for one. So myself and Emily just were like, okay, we'll have a look around while you go do that. So there was a couple of indie games that were directly opposite, and one of the guys was like, oh, do you want to come over and have a look at a few things? And one of them was Contraband Police. And to explain Contraband Police, it's essentially Papers, Please, but in a 3D environment, and you get to investigate vehicles. So you get to like you don't get to interrogate the driver because they're not that far along in development yet, but you get to like weigh the vehicle to see if it's got any contraband on it. You can search different parts on it. There was one guy who was in a car, and I weighed it. It was ridiculously over, and he said, oh, if you just go pick up the knife that's on the table and walk over to the tires, and I cut open the tires, and the amount of drugs that fell out was just insane. And then all 4 tires.
Okay.
I mean, I really liked it because I'm a massive fan of simulators, but I just found it really fun and entertaining finding drugs in all those cars and pretending to be an immigration officer or like in the actual sim, and like investigating who can come in and out of the country. And the best thing is that if you let them go, like if you go too far with interrogating them, then they can drive off, and you have to catch them, and then you have to shoot them as well.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you actually, prefacing that, you actually have to shoot the car to kind of disable it to then capture them. You don't actually shoot the people. But it's quite cool because you got a nice Jeep that's got a little chain gun on the back of it, which is really cool. But it's from Soviet era, kind of like Russia. You've got a nice they're developing like a village that you can go to and kind of sell the contraband to make a little on the side and things like that. So you're really they're building the depth into it. But one thing I did say was this game would be amazing and so much fun if you could play with multiple people. And they said, well, we're not that far along yet, but it's something we've been thinking about and definitely listening to people and what they're saying at Gamescom. And one of the things they have been saying is multiplayer. So hopefully that will come along soon. And it looks really, really, really good. And it was a lot of fun to play. I know I played it first, and then Emily had her turn on it. And yeah, I think by the end of it, we're both like, yes, this game is so good. This game is
Yes.
Nice.
It's great.
Cool. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about all the games that we saw so far. There's one last thing, at least, that I want to talk about, and that was the game Hot Shot Burn. It's out right now on Steam Early Access. It's a very nice party game, especially locally. And the basic principle is just there's like a large level, and you're like one of 4, characters on the screen, just walking around, trying to shoot each other. What you do, right? And the game is super simple. You have just the direction buttons. You have the, I think, A button to shoot and the B button to have a secondary, special feature. For example, there's a chicken running around that can poof up and then absorb any shot for a few seconds, so it's invulnerable. There's other characters that can lay like a cactus that's walking around, and if you use the special ability, it's like a small ring of needles just storming out. And so if you're not careful enough and are too close to him, he will just use these needles and then boop, anything that's around him just immediately dies. And you can only take one hit, so rounds are over very fast. And that's actually a nice thing about it, because this game is just going over rounds so quickly, and there's so much chaos in between. And it's not really like you feel like you're losing, because there will obviously be a winner after, I think, 5 rounds or something like that, 6. And it's super quick, it's super fun, very nice to learn. There's some nice strategies going in there. For example, there's a level where it's on the top and bottom row, a horde of bullets is running around. It's like Stampede. And if you're not careful enough, you get caught up in that and die from that. And there's other things you can hide in, like wheat fields. There's a teleporter system. If you run up from the right side, you come back on the left and stuff like that to surprise someone. So it's a bit chaotic, but it's also part of the charm. And so we got the game actually today as a press key.
Nice.
We hope that we can play it also online together, which I hope, cross the fingers. So maybe you come back for a nice multiplayer stream on Twitch here again.
Yeah.
Play that game and enjoy it together.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. That's one of the most fun things that I saw It's just like
Yeah.
sitting down, getting a controller in the hand, and say, "Well, you work well on that. You have the 2 buttons. Let's go." And it's just, "Oh, okay. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun." So it's always nice. Just pick up a game and have fun.
Yeah, I definitely think one of the biggest compliments that I know the rest of all of us pretty much got at Gamescom was whenever we were playing a game and there was a developer that was standing nearby, they would definitely say like, "Oh, you guys are so good at the game. Normally we have to explain everything to people. It's just like, it's ridiculous, but you guys can just pick it up and play it straight away." And I think that's just so. It's fun and it's cool because then the developers can then just go actually talk about their game and they can explain things and not spend half of the interview time or half of the demo time just trying to explain the controls, which is always a good thing. But it's a lot of fun when the developer's having a good time and you're having a good time playing the game as well. Yeah, I don't think there was any games that I saw at Gamescom that kind of let me down at all. There was nothing that I saw that I was like, I didn't really enjoy this as much as I hoped, or it wasn't really at the stage that I liked. I really think that a lot of the games there were very well polished, very well done, and I definitely think pretty much everything I saw, and I'm pretty sure, Flo, you got the same kind of opinion, everything that we saw that the community is going to absolutely love, and there's a lot of stuff that's coming out to really, like, if you're looking for games at the moment, just wait a little bit. There will be loads of games coming out to kind of satisfy you.
Yeah, if it's big games or small games, there's lots of things in between. We saw so many. It would take a while to catch up with everything, but that's actually a nice thing because we don't rush ourselves into it anymore. Like what I did like 2 years ago, I basically didn't sleep at all, really, and just powered through doing every video that I could do for that 1 week because I was thinking, well, once Gamescom week is over and you make a video about a game from Gamescom, it's not interesting. But these days, I know I just can't do it, and we saw so many things. It's possible to cover all the things quickly. So just do it bit by bit and make it actually like, hey, we saw this game. I know it's a while ago, but it's still also coming just in a few next months, so it's still relevant to talk about it right now after Gamescom. And it's always a nice way how we can, be relevant in our own way without necessarily tagging it with Gamescom.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I really hope that the game that I loved was Necrobarista, but it was very short. It's like a visual novel thing, and with actual 3D animations and everything.
Yeah.
A necromancer having a coffee shop, and it's really cool because the dead can come back for only 23 hours, and they say 23 hours. 23 hours and 30 minutes is not 23 hours, it's just 23 hours. And stuff like that. There's interesting rules coming up. There's like a dark mystery behind that. It's very nice to just read through. And something that hopefully comes out very soon. I think end of 2019 was the target.
Okay.
So shout out to that. Article is out on the website if you want to see actually some screenshots from that game. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Good
All right,
stuff.
guys. You want to add anything else about another game that you saw?
There's just so many because I could run off a complete list of about 10 or so games that I saw.
The list looks more like 12.
Yeah, it's a big list. It's not really showing up on the screen, but it's a big list of stuff. But yeah, there's definitely some interesting ones that we saw. Quite a few of them have already either announced release dates or have already come out. Or in early access. I definitely know that they're, Pagan Online released a couple of days after Gamescom. You've got Necrobarista, which is coming out soon. You also got that, you said Hot Shot Burn was in early access. So there's definitely quite a lot of games that are coming out quite soon. But yeah, definitely keep checking the website. We'll have more information for you. And it doesn't matter that Gamescom over for me personally. If it was a good game and it's worth reading about and having more information about, it's definitely interesting. I'm going to put up that information so that you guys can hear and read everything that we saw, and everything is interesting. There's nothing that I'm looking back on and going, it's after Gamescom, it's not that interesting anymore. Everything's just kind of I'm interested to see that and what happens with it, and more information is better than none. So yeah.
Emily, you want to add something
about Gamescom or anything?
Because it's getting rather late night now. We started a little late, sadly, because I had to do some technical setup. You guys were a little bit busy still. So this will be a little bit shorter episode, but I think still a good one. But if you want to like slowly just go finish the thoughts maybe and then wrap it up, that's why I'm asking if you want to add something.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good Gamescom. Saw lots of very interesting games. I got really excited when I saw the UK gaming thing.
Yeah.
Saw all those UK gaming, all that gaming industry in the UK. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, great people, great developers, great games. Would love to go again next year.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, what about you, House Death?
I want to just say I think I've been going for 5 years by now as press. And I definitely never want to go back again because it's just too much stress. I was really happy about the games that I selected because there were a few more brought to us like, hey, you want to see this game? And I'm always thankful if they come forth to us because it's then easier just to reach out and make an appointment so we can secure that we definitely have time to check it out. Nonetheless, we, at least I for myself, know the games that I looked at, happily all are actually as good as I expected, some even better. And I was never really disappointed, so it's good to see that I'm making smart choices based on what I see, at least in the trailers. And that I always have a good feeling when I come out of an appointment saying, okay, this is good. It's a good thing. I can do something with that. No, I didn't waste my time, so it's always special. And yeah, so possibly I just say, yeah, it was a great Gamescom yet again. Can't wait for 2020 when the new consoles come out. Hopefully we'll be able to cover some of that at time. And yeah, so far, it was a good Gamescom. I enjoyed going. Love to go back again.
Yeah.
Dan, what's your last thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was a great Gamescom. It was definitely a lot of fun to see all the different stuff. I want to say just thanks again for EA for allowing us to have the EA passes and allowing us to be at the EA press area. That was a lot of fun. I met some great guys there as well. And yeah, definitely can't wait to go again and have loved everything that I saw. And yeah, can't wait to get it all done and dusted and produce some more content.
Yeah. All right, then. That's a wrap. It's a burrito. That's a pizza. Whatever it is. It's definitely fine. It's good to be back again with the podcast. Thanks so much. We don't know when the next will be because we're always busy. We'll hopefully make this again a more regular thing. We'll see how it goes, and especially with Liz on board now. Thank you so much for joining us. We just see where we're heading now. Hopefully getting bigger, I don't know, more prominent in some way. Reach out to more people. That would always be lovely. And with that, I say that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, guys, out there. Thanks for joining us in chat for the live show. If you see the recording, of course, follow us here on YouTube, Twitch, of course, also linked down below. And if you're really special, go to Mixer. In case you still follow Ninja, you can also maybe follow us there if you like that platform. It's always a good thing. Hey, Microsoft shirt. Other than that, of course, we're also on thenewbyte.com, twitter.com, twitter.com/thenewbyte, and of course on Instagram, where Emily also posts a lot of things. And definitely, yeah, we're everywhere. Can't hide from us. No.
Oh,
I mean, we can't hide from you, actually, because we're everywhere. That's actually the other way around, I guess. But anyway, are we having a nice
Works
week?
both ways.
Yeah, it works both ways, I guess. All right, guys, I'm out. Thanks so much. You guys want to add something?
No, I just can't wait to get to do more stuff, and weekly podcast is back. Yay!
Hopefully weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we can. You can never know, but we try our best.
Yeah.
Any words?
About what?
If you want to say goodbye, I don't know. I don't want.
Okay.
Last chance.
Yeah, basically follow us for great content. And we want to hear what you think.
Yeah, let us know in the comments down below.
And stuff. Yeah. Feedback is key. And communication is key. But yeah, follow us, like us, stuff like that.
And bye-bye.
Bye.